Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Ade-OLUWA. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. This is where I talk about whatever is on my mind, really. And it can be a variety of things. Whatever is on my mind that is a burning issue, and I just need to, just talk about it, right? Just share my opinion and my mindset about anything. And then you're free to agree, disagree, relate, converse with me on it. I would like that. I will enjoy that feedback where, you can say, well, I don't agree with you, and this is my reason why I don't agree with you. That's fine, as long as we're civil to each other and one another. I think that is what matters. We need more intelligent discourse on a variety of things as it relates to us. Everything doesn't have to be about facts. Sometimes it has to do about how we feel about things. I think in this generation, which brings me to what I'm going to talk about right now, in this dispensation, I don't want to just say generation. In this dispensation, we don't care for one another as much because we're losing touch with our feelings. Like, we're not allowed to feel, except of course if you're queer. That's the new word for LGBT these days. I don't know, unless you're queer, it seems they're the only ones who are given permission to feel. Every other person's feelings is not as important. It's like the LGBT community has been given more of a, shall we say, permission to be human. It's as if they are the ones who are human, and the rest of us, I don't know what we are. But like someone said today that I really agree with, is that it doesn't matter what other people think about you as long as you're not confused about who you are. I think knowing who you are is very, very important, the basics at least, because I don't think anyone can completely know who they are on this side of heaven, because you didn't make yourself. I mean, come on now, a product cannot know more than the manufacturer knows about it, right? So yeah, you might know your function well to a certain degree, but you just have to humble yourself enough to not be conceited in who you think you are. New things come up, right? So I think I'm just kind of here. One of the reasons why I'm here is to make it okay for people to be in touch with their feelings, because we're all about facts. I see that a lot. Fact says, statistics shows, and I'm like, okay, that's nice, but I think what is most important is, how do I feel about this? What does my instinct tell me? What does my intuition tell me? What does my mind tell me? Like, all of these things, they're very, in fact, I think they're more important than what facts say. Sometimes, how we feel is very, very important as well. Although we need to look at facts, but everything has to be balanced. But these days, nothing, like we say in Nigeria, life no balance. It's not balanced these days. It's like everybody is at the other extreme, and now, before I get all off topic, as I'm wont to do, I just said I should put that out there, right? So that you will understand where I'm coming from. Now, I have read a lot of, maybe not a lot, because there are probably hundreds, if not thousands, of comments on Meghan Markle's issue with her in-laws. Like I said in my last video on this issue, it's an in-law thing, so to speak. It's just that her in-laws are more famous than most, more established, quote and unquote, um, than most, right? And their lives are more on display than most, right? On display, unfortunately, for the wrong reasons. When they're doing nice things, we really don't know what they're doing. But once they get into something that is either immoral or unlawful, or at least allegedly, yeah, that's another popular word these days. Allegedly. Yeah. Let me check my environment a bit. Aha. All right. I'm back. Please don't mind the noise outside. I just needed to talk because if I waited until everything is quiet and all of that, I don't think I'll be able to wait. So I need to get this off my mind as much as I can. Um, people have said this is none of our business. And I'm like, that is not true. It is our business, one way or the other, at least for one. If nothing else, it's taxpayers' money's business. And I don't know much about Commonwealth, but if Commonwealth involves that those that are members of the Commonwealth are paying something, whatever, remunerations, uh, 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 a modern day word for tributes. For anyone who is a student of history, tribute is what you pay to someone you have submitted your someone who you are, shall we say, a bit subject to, kind of like you have submitted some of your authority or some of your autonomy to them. So you pay something to them. For it can be called any name, but if as long as your monies in one way or the other, or your services or your resources, either human resources or non-human resources, maybe like mineral resources, financial, whatever, as long as a part of yourself or a part of your land is going to a certain country or a certain person, it's a tribute. Now, I don't know what it's called these days, you understand, but you can always go and check what that is called, right? So, if now notice I said I didn't know anything about Commonwealth because I wasn't really interested. I'm not sure I want to know what it is, because if I do know what it is, I might be more upset than I am about this whole Commonwealth, British stuff, and all of that. I might be more upset about it. And I want to be in a place where I embrace peace within me, right? A lot of people are not over the trauma of colonization, which is a kind of cute word for enslavement and all the horrible things that happened before people reluctantly submitted themselves to be ruled over and to be exploited, so to speak. Yeah, exploitation. Yeah, you know, uh, yeah. So if I want to embrace peace within me, you know, um, I need to think less of what other people have done to wrong other people, like humans' inhumanity to humans. I need to think less of that and focus more on the goodness of life, the goodness of some people, and just, but with the events happening recently with Meghan Markle is making it a bit more difficult. And I remember telling somebody who obviously thinks that the royal family is exonerated from all of this, and Meghan and Harry, they're just crying wolf and all of that. And I told him, I said, look, to Britain and to British extremists and to people who worship the crown and worship the British monarchy, which is between them and the Almighty God, and the Most High God is between them and the Most High God, they will have to explain to God themselves. But to those who kind of worship monarchy And to those who have been at the receiving end of um, exploitation, this whole situation is like a PTSD. I remember telling him that it was on one of my blogs. He made a commentary that rubbed me the wrong way. Like everything he said was just rubbing me the wrong way. You know, and I was like, look, this is beyond Meghan and Harry right now. Do you understand what I'm saying? For me, it's beyond them. They are a representative of a lot of things for so many people. Even if all you can take away from it is that you are having issues with your in-laws, that in itself makes this your business. Do you understand what I'm saying? And for people who say this is not racism, please, in Africa, we phrase tribalism in traditional settings, where culture is, just like England holds its own tradition, there are many other people that hold their tradition in Asian countries, in Asia, in Africa, and some other places. But what I do know is that in Asia and Africa, we're a highly cultural people. We're very, very attached to our tradition. Like we hold tenaciously to those things. Yes, it's like we have one foot in the sanctuary and we have another foot in the, and sometimes some of us are trying to bring the traditions into the 21st century, and a lot of more often than not it does not fit. Do you understand? And we don't want to adjust, right? We don't want to redefine and redesign our tradition to suit our needs, not our wants, not our desires, but our needs, and to make us, to remove the inhumanities that are entrenched in our culture, because every culture, every tradition has its inhumane side, So I think more than bringing it to the 21st century and all of those stuff, we need to put more humanity in our tradition and in our culture and make, ourselves more humane, so to speak. Pardon me, I need to check around me. When it's getting dark, I need to check around me to make sure that I don't have some creeping stuff around me. So, da, 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 da. Hi, I'm still here. Aha. Now that I've checked around me, let's continue. Okay, so I think that we should just remove the, whatever is inhumane. Let me put it this way. Anything in your culture that you would not want done to you or your children, then it needs to go. Simply put. Does that make it simple for you? Yes, that's what our forefathers have done for thousands of years. We get that, but they're not here anymore. And it may have worked for them, but how did it work for them? What was their motive? Do you understand what I am saying? Right? And so, um, I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. Imagine, I had forgotten that I was on video. I was listening in on my mother's conversation. Sorry about that. Anyways, I was saying, tradition. Tradition is good as long as it's not inhumane, as long as it's not about mistreating other people, either subtle or passive or aggressive, either passively or aggressively. I think what Megan is talking about, what she talked about, and please, I hadn't watched the complete what is it called? the video, and like I said once, I'm not sure I'm going to watch it. Reason is that the little I have heard annoys me. Like, I feel offended. And that's what I was telling someone, that look, this matter concerns every woman of color. Because Meghan, whether you like it or not, whether you believe it or not, you don't have to believe me. Do you understand? Perhaps because it's not your personal story. You know how we do. If it doesn't concern us directly and personally, it's none of our business, until of course it becomes our business. Then we start crying foul. But she is a woman of color. Or at least, let me put it this way. Before someone comes and say, no, she's not a woman of color, she's not black, she's not white. Okay, fine. Fine, whatever. But there is an indisputable fact here. Her mother is black. And that right there makes her a representative of black people. Whether you think she represents you or not is not the point. She is a representation, not a representative, a representation, a symbol, if you may, of the black people and everything that they have been through and everything that they are in the British monarchy. What does that mean? However they treat Meghan, or however Meghan is treated, is the way all black people are viewed and are going to be treated if she does not do as she's told. I think those that don't like her, to them is a simple matter of she did not do as she was told. That's how it sounds to me. That's just it right there. She didn't do as she was told. And this is like her punishment for that. But funny enough, I look at that situation and I say to myself, even if she does as she's told, all she will get are promises. But those promises may never be fulfilled. Please excuse me. Benima! 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 Yes, ma. I'm sorry. That was my mother. She was asking me a question, and what that means in English, ick. What are we going to do? I would just choose to see speaking English as just learning another language. Although, frankly speaking, how we came about learning that language is not something I want to think about right now. You understand? But what I just said to my mother was that, yes, ma. Beni in southwest Nigeria. Yeah. In southwest Nigeria is yes. Beni means yes. Ma is a word, a short form of madam, so to speak, that you use to pay respect to those women who are older than you. So that's just about it, really. She was asking me a question and I was responding. Yeah, that about does it. All right. So, for those who say this is none of their business, if you are a deep thinker and you think not only when something concerns you, but you think about everything that you don't understand that goes on around you, that goes on in the world. You're curious about things that has no direct effect, has no direct doesn't directly concern you, quote and unquote, but it's just, if you're a student of history, you're a student of literature, you think about a variety of things, right? So if you think deeply about this, it concerns everybody. But even if it doesn't concern everybody, it concerns you as a black person specifically, because the only symbol of the black race in the monarchy is going through this. Whether you want to believe her or not, eh? Like someone said, everyone deserves a modicum of kindness. And some people have said if she's stressing the queen, she does not deserve kindness. And I'm thinking, what? Is that supposed to even be a reason? Like, when did you start curing poison with poison? Do you understand what I'm saying? If she's truly manipulative and all the, nasty words that have been used to describe her, you think the best way to counter her is to vilify her? That is a wrong move, don't you think? You don't expose a manipulator. And no, I'm not talking about Meghan, because as far as I'm concerned, my instinct, yes, my instinct, which to the glory of God and by the grace of God, I believe my instinct is a divine tool that God has placed inside of me, because it has never been wrong. I look at that woman and I don't see a deceiver. I don't see a manipulator. Now, I have, like someone said succinctly, or like someone said in a very diplomatic way that I had not been able to find, I have mixed feelings about their interviewer, the person who interviewed them. Mixed feelings based on, how she has treated some of those she has interviewed and all of that. I hope that Meghan and Harry don't face the same situation that her some of those she had interviewed had you know, been through, like Michael Jackson, for example. Yeah, like who else? Like Monique, for example, yeah, those are the two that I know, and that is more than enough, right? You know, that is a bit somehow. But that being said, first of all, I want to admire Harry for how he has been a man. He's been the man's man throughout all of this. And I think majorly the uproar is not because of Meghan, because those who are against her never really saw her as important. Though they said they welcome her, but the reason why I say this is an in-law issue is that in-laws will welcome you at first. How do I know she's right? It's very, very similar to tribalism. Everything she said, a person facing tribalism will tell you the same thing. A person facing nepotism will tell you the same thing. It happens in African cultures, it happens in other cultures. If you're from a section of the same race, another section of the same race, a tribe from the same race, but your tribe is different from the tribe you married into, you are going to face tribalism, which is a more indigenous, which is an indigenous racism. It's not racism, but it's there isn't much difference. It's just discrimination within a race, among tribes. So you have people, you have in-laws, they will welcome, of course they will welcome. Jeez. They will welcome you because they are not going to treat you badly in public. Do they treat Meghan badly in public? If you read between the lines, yeah, they do. But of course, if you've never faced tribalism, you've never faced discrimination with your in-laws, you wouldn't know anything about this. Now, I don't have in-laws, but like I said, I don't have in-laws yet. But like I said, I observe. I'm a student of literature, and when you're a student of literature, you observe other people's lives and other people's stories. And I'm an empathic, right? So I walk in other people's shoes and it gives me a better understanding of where they are coming from without me personally experiencing it. I didn't mean for this video to go so long, but I think I'm basically reacting to what is going on here. Like, what Meghan is going through is what a lot of black people have been through. And and if other races would even be honest, is what some of them have been through. You see a situation where in America, let's put it that way, if you're from the north or from the south, there is still that undercurrent of prejudice somewhere, especially in families that didn't mix much, that they married within their geographical location. And then you come from the northern part of America and you're married to a family from the south. Huh? Huh? Some of you know what you've been through. Some of you marry into an elitist family, a political family, a family that is famous for something. Either in business, in politics, or maybe they're the founding fathers. They were founders of a particular place and they are very famous. Their name is well known. Unless they're very, very welcoming and they're not very rigid, they're going to be very, very discriminatory about anyone who comes into their family. They see you as an intruder. They really don't care what their son thinks, even though they say otherwise, but their action says something else. And like I said earlier before I cut off my train of thought, the major reason why all of this attack is on Meghan is because of Harry, but they can't directly talk about Harry, right? Except he's tied to his wife's rapper, that kind of stuff. The reason they are mad is because Harry is what a lot of women wish the men in their lives were. That's one. Two, Harry is the man that a lot of men are not. And they've sold this narrative that men would always take their families first. They will never leave their family for you. So you are the one who has to bow, scrape, worship, do whatever you have to do to gain the favor of his family if you don't want to lose the man. That has been the narrative, spoken or spoken for so many years, for a very long time. And he came and he upset it without even thinking he upset anything. Like when a man basically is himself and he does something that is against the narrative that a woman has to subject herself to all sort of passive, inhumane behaviors, verbal abuse, because I think from what Meghan has said, verbal abuse is also part of this whole thing. Verbal abuse, emotional abuse. Yes, you have to go through all of that. They don't beat you, they don't flog you, they don't criticize you in public or stuff like that. But there is that emotional abuse, there's that verbal abuse that is very passive, but it's very, very deadly in its delivery. And someone who is not empathic will not see it until it is said to them, when they least expect it. But then again, I now ask myself, do we have to wait for things to happen to us before we understand that something is a problem? Do we? They say Megan is an actress. Really? Yeah, she's an actress, but that doesn't mean she acts all the time. I mean, if we're honest with ourselves, the people who act, who lie in real life, away from an acting job, they're not in the entertainment industry. The real actors, the real hypocrites, they're not in the entertainment industry. Oh, some of them are, of course. I mean, bad people are everywhere. But the real actors and actresses, I mean, let's face it, for some people who have watched Crime Inc. and have been able to evade the law for so long because nobody ever imagined that they're capable of what they had done or what had happened. Nobody ever saw that they could do it. How many of them were actors and actresses by profession? Some of them were executives. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I'm talking from how in Crime Inc., how many actors and actresses have been caught acting in so much deception that it took the police and the law enforcement a while to even crack that crime. How many actors and actresses were involved? How many? I'm not saying there aren't there, but how many? And they acted so well, they pretended so well. You're like, well, this would have served them well if they had been actors rather than do something like that. I think we should, beyond what you think Megan might be or may not be, beyond all of that, I think you should ask your conscience. I'm assuming you still have one. That is even, I'm assuming you know what a conscience is. If you don't, go find it where you threw it. If you have a conscience, your conscience is something that tells you what is right or what is wrong. Ask your conscience, what say you to what is going on around here? I think you'll get your answer. And if you have any insight at all, I think you'll get your answer. Beyond your biases, your prejudices, your motives, beyond all of that, your conscience is not subject to your negative feelings about any situation. Your conscience is about the truth. So regardless of how you feel about a certain situation or a person, your conscience will tell you what the truth is. What does your conscience tell you? What does it tell you? That is, if I'm actually hoping you still have yours and you use it often and you listen to your conscience often. I'm talking to you if your conscience is still active and you're not done something to it. All right, that'll be it for now. More on this to come, maybe much later. I don't know. When I think more of it on it and I feel that I should share, I'll let you know. So please subscribe, click on the notification bell. Please, 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 please subscribe. And when you do subscribe, let me know in the comment section so I can properly say thank you. All right, so I can acknowledge you and say thank you, because sometimes I see subscriptions but I'm like, who subscribed? I don't really know. So please say I subscribed, and I'm like, hey, thank you very much, I see you. Okay, so yeah, stay safe, stay healthy, and remember, God has not given us a spirit of fear but a power, love, and a sound mind. Shalom.